Whether you are an aspiring or recently accomplished author, the Nuggets and Author's Gold will help you around all matters that pertain to self-publishing.
From the creation of a book to the business behind a book.
Introducing your host, Grant, who is an entrepreneur, speaker coach, 3-time author, and the founder of the Golden Goose Institute.
And Luyanda, who is a speaker, author, editor, author coach, and founder of masande-sakhe.
Join us on a journey that will enable you to create, unearth, and share stories that matter.
Author's Gold, the home of self-publishers.
Robert Salijeni is a prolific professional speaker, public speaking coach, NLP practitioner, and a member of Toastmasters International. He is an adventurous, vivacious, positive, and open-minded person who is always improving himself through reading books and learning from people he interacts with. He believes in continuous learning. Making a difference in other people's lives is his calling. He is a family man who loves his wife, Sekani Tamanda, and their 4 children, Annie, Augustine, Angel, and Amy. During his free time, he loves mountain biking, hiking, and visiting places. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Bob. Bob, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for bringing me to this show.
Pleasure's ours, and we're really looking forward to the nuggets that you're going to share, especially with those who are aspiring to become authors. Just to, basically make that gap between aspiring to obviously accomplished authors such as yourself. So the first question that I have for you is, what's your what if? And let me just build some context for you and those who are listening. Every book that is birthed comes from the question of what would the world be if this book was out there? And that's as simple as saying, in my case, for instance, with the first book, what would the world be if everybody was able to reach their full potential? What would the world be if everybody was able to sell their products? Or what would the world be if everybody was able to write their own books and begin to publish their own books as well? What type of world would we have? And basically, our books give us a sneak preview into that type of world where you answer the what if. And I know that your book certainly answers that. So the question I have for you is, what's your what if?
Thank you very much, Grant, for that intriguing question. What if? My book basically is to help people find themselves. What I thought of and what I've been seeing over time is that a lot of people live negatively. A lot of people look down upon themselves. A lot of people don't believe in themselves. They don't see that they have the power within themselves. So by failure to do that, they are living average life. Hence, I said, what can I do to help these people change from living negatively to start living life fully? The more reason then I said, let me write this book. A book that will help someone see within himself or herself the power that's residing in him or her, and that will help him or her become the best version of him or herself. That's the reason I had to birth that book.
Love it. I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Yes, Lou?
I absolutely love how you say people live negatively, that you're sort of trying to change that perspective and change that narrative in the way that they live their lives. My question for you is, what would have happened if you did not write your book?
What a question. Right. I felt and still feel if I had not written my book, a lot of people would not have discovered themselves. A lot of people would have been still negative. A lot of people would not be happy. Why am I saying this? Having the book out there and seeing feedback from those that have read it, a lot of people are saying, Robert, this book has changed me. I was fully not myself. I was stressed out. I didn't have time for myself. But by having time to read this book, I've managed to make myself live full. I've made myself to find time for myself, even for my family. So you can see the feedback that the reader out there is giving me is positive, meaning that it's helping them change for the better. Now, if this book was not there, I can guarantee you they would not have changed. They would have been stressed. Some would have even maybe have committed suicide by not having access to that book. But now they are in a better position to tell a better story because they have read that book.
Over to you, Grant.
Well, that's got some depth to it. And putting that type of responsibility and accountability on your shoulders is quite the big call. So well done on answering that. The big question that I have for you now is that somebody out there will say, okay, I feel I'm in a space where I've got an idea too, and I definitely want to share that idea. But how Robert started with his idea and obviously had something fully fledged in his hands to give to people that they could, begin to start changing their lives and so forth. There had to be some sort of goal-setting techniques that this brother was working with. And I just wanted to find out, what goal-setting techniques did you use to finally get to the point of idea to finally having a book?
Thank you very much, Grant. What I did, or the technique that I used to birth this book, I used the SMART goal technique. I had to be specific with what I wanted to convey out there. I had to give myself a streamlined idea to say, what exactly do I want? And then I had to make it measurable. By what time? And what are the steps that I need to put in place to make sure that I get there? I had to make myself accountable. Is this thing actionable? Is this thing that is going to be realized now or later? Hence, I have to make sure that I put necessary steps that will take me to realizing my goal. And the other thing is, I had to be realistic with myself. I'm starting this project. Am I going to make it? Am I going to finish it? Or it's something that I can't? Believing in myself that this is doable, I can make it. I had to venture into it. Then I gave myself the timeline to say, from now until what time, until what date am I going to finish this project? So by looking at these 5 steps, I came to realize my dream.
I see.
That's in a nutshell that I can respond to your question, my dear brother.
All right. And maybe just to delve in just a bit deeper, when it comes down to it being realistic, right? How did you know, okay, great, this seems to be something realistic? Was it the timeline? Was it, because this is the first time you're doing this. So the question obviously is, even for somebody who's out there that's thinking, I also want to write a book, they're thinking, how did you make that switch from this is something that's not realistic to something that you're like, I think this can happen?
This happened because of the fact that I had this burning desire in me. The thing is, if you desire something really hard and once it's done, it happens.
Okay.
But if you say, I'll do it. I'll do it. That will never, ever happen. So it happened because I had this burning desire to make sure that this dream is realized. That's how I can simply answer that question to make it realistic.
I like that. Burning desire. Something that could not be quenched. Over to you, madam.
So you mentioned that when you realized the time, it was also doable. So how much time passed from the time that you wrote your first word until your book was in your hands?
Wow, it took time. It took time. First of all, writing the first manuscript took me 10 weeks.
Wow.
And in between, there was editing and what have you. Having it edited, it was finally approved by the editor in September. That is the last week of September. That's from May to September. That's when I got the final note to say, wow, this is done. Ready for publishing. Then in October, somewhere around the 60th or so, it was live on Amazon. Then, in life, you can plan that my journey will take 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 10 weeks.
True.
However, the reality is not the case. What happened in between? I was financially not okay. And then I had to make a decision to say, okay, let's hold on to this project. Then it was December that then I realized I had some funds and I paid the publisher. The book was then published in January. By March 4th, I had the hard copies in my hands. So it took me from May, that was 2019, and then I got my book on 4th March 2021.
So that's what, a year and a bit, hey, if I'm not mistaken. If my math serves me correct. All right. No, it's remarkable that you obviously were able to put something down within 10 weeks. And then obviously, as you put across, and this is something that my lecturer used to tell me a long time ago, my financial management lecturer, that once you put a plan down on paper, life then says, that was great. Now, here comes a bit of the obstacles and so forth. I feel that's when we're really tested to say, is this something that you really want? Or was this just a good idea? So well done on looking at it and saying, no, this is not just an idea. This is obviously something that I need to birth this thing. I need to absolutely birth this thing. The question then I have for you is research. Tell me more about the research. How much research did you put into your book? When would you also say one should research until X amount, and then after that, they need to obviously put their work out there?
Thank you very much. In terms of research, you see, as I was birthing this book, I had read a number of books, especially philosophical books. I love philosophy, and especially Stoicism. So with Stoicism, I've learned to take life positively. That is, how do you take that life positively? You have to anticipate yourself losing something. If you anticipate a loss and live as if you've lost something, you live happily. Unlike you saying, I have everything at my disposal, and then you lose it out, you find yourself frustrated, and in some cases, you can even kill yourself. So with Stoicism, having learned about what goes into it and how individuals are helped to grow and become mature and live positively, I said, no, this is not enough. I can't only read about Stoicism and that's the end of it.
Yeah.
I had to venture into the other types of philosophy so that I understand all of them and eventually make a choice to say which one makes sense to me. And that's how I had to settle for Stoicism. Then from there, I continued reading more and more books. Why were I reading more and more books? Is because of the topic that I was to write about. Changing the mindset of people. And changing people's mindset, helping them live differently from the way they have been, meant that I had to dig more and more so that I have relevant and enough information so that whatever I write and comes out should really make sense and indeed help the people be who they should be. So yes, it took a bit of time. I read more than 26 books.
Yeah.
To make sure that by the end of the day, I birth Finding You Admist-the-Chaos. That's in a nutshell.
That's very thoughtful of you. I tend to think of research as, putting bricks together. The research is now just the cement that puts those bricks together in order for you to build a house of some sort. And I think of research exactly the same way. So in your case, for instance, having the thought to say, I want to give whoever the reader is, I want to give them a holistic approach to what it is that I'm thinking about. I think that is very selfless, very thoughtful as well. So well done. Well done in that regard. 26 books to birth one book, apart from your life, apart from your life experiences. That is thoughtful. No? And to do that in 10 weeks is no easy feat. Over to you, madam.
So I'm glad that you also illustrated that an author needs to read, because that that provides depth into what it is that you're writing, but you also get to see what is out there and what you can do that's different or that could enhance what is already out there. So I really love that you took the time to give value to the reader, or the potential reader, or everyone out there, really.
Yes.
So how are you how are you currently marketing your book? How are you ensuring that everybody else out there knows that your book is here and that it can change their lives?
Let me squeeze a quick message here. Listen, if you are aspiring to publish a book, have a look in the description for our Quicket link to see when the next workshop is. We do both online and face-to-face meetings. Take your dream from potential to reality. Book your seat at our next workshop. Looking forward to seeing you there. And remember, the world needs to hear your story and learn from your truth. So write it and then publish it. Now back to the show.
Basically, my background is I'm a marketer and had been in advertising for quite a number of years. So with that, I have a history in terms of the way I performed or related with the market out there. I've had clients, and these clients, in a way, I created connections, strong connections with them. I made them my friends. So when I was writing this book, I had these people in mind that, okay, if this book is out, the first target are these close friends of mine. So once the book came in, what did I do? I had to go knock their doors. Look, I've got this book. What is it about? It's about so. One buys a book. Another one says, no, I don't want only to buy one. I'll buy 10 from you. Another one says, okay, I'm buying one, or I'm buying two. Then having read the books themselves, what have they done? They started speaking about that book to other friends who are then coming to buy this book. But not only that, right now, social media is very powerful. I've seen the likes of Les Brown, the likes of Grant-Senzani, Luyanda, and other great people out there who are using it not only for fun, but for marketing their products. So I said, if Grant is doing this, Luyanda is doing this, why not me? Do I have to be left out? No. So I use social media. But how have I used social media? What I've done is, whoever has bought my book, I'm taking pictures of them. Having taken pictures of them, I'm posting them on social media, that is Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter. And the way I'm marketing this book is not that I'm saying, look, here is a book, this guy has bought it, buy it as well. No. I'm not doing it that way. I'm doing it in a subtle manner. And this is, I'm using like a quote from the book and write a little bit about that topic to create curiosity in the mind of the buyer or the reader. Say, what is inside this book? Why is this guy just telling us this? By leaving them still asking more questions, then they are coming to my inbox and say, Bob, tell me more about your book. Where can I find this book? Then I said, hang on, where are you? Are you in Blantyre? Are you far? If they are close by, I'm going to deliver the book. If they are far, I'm couriering the book. So I'm doing advertising through social media and using direct marketing to sell my book.
Yeah.
That's in a nutshell.
Yeah.
That is amazing that you've looked at all the different possibilities and you've looked into your network as the first point of call. You're like, okay, well, these people, I know them, I've built a relationship with them. If they can be the first ones to get the book, then it will sell. Like, it will lead to other people and they can then be your spokespeople. And of course, the leveraging social media to enhance to get to the people that you might not necessarily know closely. So I think it's great that you're leveraging all of those different avenues. Mr. Senzani.
Yeah, that's brilliant stuff. And I'm a big fan. I don't know why most people don't necessarily engage in it, but that whole thing of direct marketing, actually seeing a person and making the sale, it drives me it drives me crazy. It really gives me a lot of energy. So it's nice when someone says that I'm going to be at the forefront of my dream and we're going to convert the numbers here. I enjoy that. I really, really enjoy that. So the question that maybe some people are going to ask is that, okay, Bob, you're doing pretty well, especially with the book sales and so forth. I saw a picture of an ex-president holding his book. That's when I was like, ooh, I don't know what he's doing, but he's doing something. He's doing something. And that for me showed the also the stretch and the amount of effort that you're putting in to say my book needs to reach all these corners. And I want to mention the president's name, unless of course Bob wants to do that for the audience. But yeah, that was that for me, it blew me away. It blew me away.
That's Madam Dr. Joyce Banda.
Yeah, Madam Dr. Yes, man. They say that when you're diligent with your talents, it will take you into rooms that you otherwise would have never been in had you not shown that diligence. And usually those rooms are big. So for me, that was like, you go, Bob, you go. But that being said, one of the things that I know we, as authors, I believe that you begin to start seeing is that book sales are great, but really making money from the fact that you're an author really is where things become a bit more lucrative. And you don't need to just talk about numbers, but have you been able to look at it from the point of view of, okay, great, I have created a book, but now there's a business that has been created because of the book. Has that happened as of yet?
Thank you very much for that question. At the moment, that idea is in the pipeline. And what I'm looking at is, having written that book, people are believing what I've said. I want to now go out and reach them, to train them, to help them discover themselves. So I want to have conferences. I want to have maybe one-on-one sessions with them and take them through the process. So that's what I'm planning to do going forward. However, because of my public speaking skills, I've managed to now start training people in public speaking, especially senior managers from various organizations that are looking for their managers to speak fluently and lead people well. So out of the book and my public speaking skill, this is something new that is coming up. And I want to make sure that having this advantage, I should go higher and higher.
You will.
That's my response to you, my dear brother.
No, you will. The irony is with the first book that I'd launched, my dream was just professional speaking and life coaching. That was it. That's where I had capped it. And then out of that stemmed building, obviously, helping people, publish books and so forth. And those were like opposed completely. So what you're going through right now, I completely relate to it. Give it about 2-3 years, what you did in your book, you'll basically start sharing with individuals. But that is really, that seems to be the natural progression, where what it is that you intended doesn't yet meet you until just a bit after. And then the roles will align. And I look forward to that journey. Seeing you on conference posters, you holding your own conferences, and just sharing your message across the stages. The world will be a better place because of it. That much I'm sure of. Madam.
So I like how, this reminds me of what you've always said, Grant, is that once you've written your book, you become an authority on whatever the subject matter is. And so, like you were saying, Bob, that you want to have one-on-one sit downs with people, because you've written this book, people are believing what it is that you've written, and then you can share and actually link them up to, achieving what it is that they've always wanted to achieve. So well done on that, So I want to know, if you had to go and meet yourself, like long time ago self, Robert, who had the idea of writing a book, what advice would you give them, knowing what you know now?
If I had to go back 10 years ago and look back at myself and see what I've done, I would have said, young man, live your dream. If you don't, someone else will.
That's very powerful. That's very, very powerful. Yeah, that's very, very powerful. There's a clip that I usually send around on on YouTube and so forth, and it talks about people that are looking back on life and saying, what was my number one regret? And out of this is from about 16 years old all the way until about 70 to 80, and it varies, but once you get to about 40 onwards, everyone keeps saying the following: I wish I had lived my dream. I should have lived my dream. If I had to turn things back, I would have lived my dream. Go out there and make the opportunity work. So I hear you. I hear you. That's very wise words. Very, very, very wise words. Yeah. I don't know if Luyanda has anything else that you'd want to say before we come to a close.
Yes. So how do you feel now, though? Now that you've written your book is out there in people's hands. How are you feeling about this? Okay, I'll say accomplishment, but how are you feeling about it?
Thank you very much, Luyanda. Now I am delighted. I am the happiest person ever. You know, it's like a child when you've done so well and your parents are excited with your achievement, you feel over the moon. So equally, I am over the moon, having much to have published my own book. And this did not happen on my own. I had the help of people, and I appreciate the value of people, the value of connections. Grant, yourself, Luyanda, and many more have made this dream come true. So we have to learn to value connections. They matter the most.
Connections. It's funny because that was part of my research, social capital. So it was really about trying to figure out how people are growing within their networks and how they can, how their businesses are surviving because of the value of their networks. And yeah, I'm glad that you said that you value people, you value connections, and value what it is that people can help you with and how they can help you achieve your dream and how you can help them achieve theirs.
Well said, guys. Thank you so much for listening, and Bob, thank you so much for gracing our stage. Really looking forward to your growth as an individual. This is obviously the first of many conversations, and certainly until next time, we wish you well and we wish you business growth as well.
Thank you very much for the opportunity given.
It's a wrap. Don't forget to write to us at info@thegoldengooseinstitute.com. We want to know what you liked, learned, and what you would want to hear more about. Authors Gold, the home of self-publishers.